Some good news and a lot of bad news to come out of this game, Moose. Do you want the good news? There is some good news that came out of this game. The good news is that it's possible with early returns that 5 guys in Joe Douglas's first draft class look like they might be guys. It's possible they might be guys. Becton, Mims had a very good debut in the first half. You obviously have Pirine, who looks like a playmaker, Huff, who was good coming off the edge yesterday, and you have your punter, Braden Mann. It's possible you had 5 guys in this Joe Douglas first draft class that could be guys. That's the good news. Do you want the bad news? The bad news is you may be looking for a quarterback next year, even if it's not Trevor Lawrence. I was so disappointed in Sam Darnold yesterday. I really was. Moose, and you and I have talked about Sam, and it is so hard to place all the blame on him because of look at everything around him. You mentioned the coaching staff. I mean, the Dowell Loggins was, had me sweating a little bit in the first half because they scripted out some really nice drives. The Bills made basically one adjustment, and it was checkmate. They could not come back from that. That was embarrassing for the Jets coaching staff, that it was just those little defensive tweaks that the Bills made that turned the lights out on the Jets offense. That's embarrassing for them. But the reason why I was disappointed with Sam Moose is because if you were really looking at this objectively and you're talking about a quarterback who is in year 3 and a team makes an adjustment and you're midway through year 3, and I get you've missed time, but you're midway through year 3, a team makes an adjustment like you have to expect every team in the NFL is going to do in the second half, and you look that bad. He looked that bad in the second half.
The entire offense looked that bad, not just him in particular.
But he's supposed to be a guy who you're looking at as a potential franchise quarterback. As good as Sam looked in the first half, Moose, I cannot look at the second half and think to myself, this is a guy who you have to give a lot of money to in a contract. Doesn't matter what's going on around him. Look at that line he finished with. This isn't a rookie. This isn't a guy who's getting his feet wet. You're talking about year 3, and I get it. It's not all his fault. I understand. But, Moose, are you really telling me that you're going to look at a guy who was 12 for 23, 120 yards, 2 interceptions? The first one was awful. And if you're the GM of the Jets, even if you can't get Trevor Lawrence, you're saying, here's money? I can't.
I have no idea what's going through Joe Douglas's mind. I don't know. I mean, but he's got nothing around him. You're leaning on a rookie running back in Pirine and Gore, right? I mean, you got old man Gore and you got LaMichael Pirine. You've got Becton at left tackle. There's not much else along that offensive line. It's not like you're surrounded with playmakers and he's 12 of 23 for 120 yards. I mean, you could. I mean, is it a fair assessment of Sam Darnold given the limitations? It's on Sam Darnold to basically be Joe Gibbs at halftime and making adjustments. That's what you need the quarterback to be doing. Isn't that what the coaching staff is for?
Yeah, but Moose, I also need a quarterback to be able to read defenses by year 3. Maggie, I need him to be able to say that even if the coaching staff, can they run screens, draw
6 times?
How does anyone beat the blitz? It's not just Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers who can beat a blitz. Yes, the coaching staff is totally to blame here. And again, it's not all on Darnold. I've just never seen a starting quarterback, top 3 pick in this league, midway through year 3, get choked like that in the second half.
Jamarcus Russell used to get choked like that in the second half.
Well, but he's an all-time bust.
I understand that, but there have been quarterbacks.
You don't want to compare to him to Jamarcus Russell.
Bad early on. There have been quarterbacks that have looked bad and proven out to be bad. Sam Darnold wasn't that yesterday. He was bad in the entire team.
I'm talking about the second half.
I understand that, Maggie, but that's not on him for the coaching for the limitations of the coaching staff. Is it on him? For their inability to adjust. It's on Sam Darnold?
It's on Sam. I think
it's more on Sam than it is the great Dowell Loggins.
No, but Moose, Adam Gase. But Moose, you can't totally absolve Sam either.
I'm not absolving him. I'm not. I have no idea. Listen, I'll heed Joe Douglas's word. We had Connor Hughes on a number of times. I've asked him a similar question in nature. Does Joe Douglas believe in Sam Darnold? He said, absolutely, no doubt about it. He does. Joe Douglas went into this year expecting this team to be a lot better, obviously, than what they are on the football field. They're sitting here at 0-7. You want to look at Sam Darnold? They've built nothing around him. We've talked about that time and time again. They've run away. So you can make the argument that Joe Douglas doesn't believe in him, and I'd give you a little bit of credence, and that's fair because he's basically run away from the quarterback. They've provided him little to no assets. We're excited about Denzel Mims, who had 4 catches for 42 yards yesterday. First time the rookie saw the field and got shut down in the second half. Jamison Crowder's a nice player. Herndon's an absolute stiff at tight end. Perriman, who they brought in on a 1-year deal. Look at what has surrounded Sam Darnold here with the Jets, and look at what every other team in the National Football League does with a young quarterback that they believe in. So, I mean, you might look at it and say, yes, Sam needs to be better, and yesterday in the second half, he was absolutely atrocious. There's no doubt about it. But here's the deal. Joe Douglas has done him no favors.
Okay, and
he's
I
provided
agree with
him
you.
little to no help, and he's coached by morons.